You're muted, bud.
Holy shit, I clicked on it and thought I'd unmute it. Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There is a PayPal link down there for anybody that wants to share some love. And the StreamYard link is there for anybody that wants to join the panel. Open topic, open panel. So bring what you got. I'm just going to sit here in the background and play some poker.
And then what happens?
We're just going to play it by ear.
Okay, can I pick on you for your plays because you suck at poker?
You can try.
Okay.
But remember, I am not the normal player. I don't go through and read all the books and profess that that's going to be the way I play. I don't play by the same odds they do. So,
well,
I'm a card watcher, so I watch what comes up and I use those odds. I don't necessarily.
I might even. I kind of buy that about you. I kind of do. There's not a whole bunch of people out there whose based observations I would just accept on the fly. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why I do this because, and get it. I do not play real poker anymore.
Yeah,
because of that.
I quit playing. I was playing. I used to have a scam I ran on guys. You know, running a 52 card deck and counting the cards in them isn't too terrible hard. You need at least 3 decks to start confusing a man. Yeah. Yep. So we're playing like some home 21 by house rules, bro. they thought it was magic, and all it was I just kept track of what had been played, what was left in the deck.
Yep. And I'll tell you about the last time I played poker, real money table out here at the local casino. I had been playing the whole game. Was like 50 minutes into it or something, and I hadn't placed any bets actually. And what happened was all of a sudden I got a queen, and what did I had 2 clubs in my hand, and the ace king 10 came up. And in that, that gives me the nut flush, right? I got the queen, the ace king is out there, and the 10. I got a good run for that royal, right? So I gotta stay. If I'm gonna stay on this hand, I may as well go all in. All in. 2 people on the table called me. And with ace king 10 on the table, it was ace king jack. It was ace king jack, and I had the queen and 9 in my hand. I'll be damned if he didn't get a trip. He went all in on a set of 5s. I had to call him with a pair of 5s, and I called him with a pair of 8s. Again,
I've got a weird opinion of luck, and a lot of people call it when I try to explain it to them. A lot of people call it a spiritualism of some sort. But I don't think that's it. That doesn't feel right in my brain. So how do you feel about luck? Do you believe in luck?
I don't know if it's so much luck as it is just happenstance. That's all it is.
Well, coincidence. Do you believe in coincidence?
Yes.
Okay. So some coincidences good, some coincidences bad. The good coincidences are what most people call luck.
Yes. There you go. I think that.
So that's not how I see it. I lend luck more towards the karma side of things than I do the coincidence side of things, because luck baffles coincidence sometimes. Luck. All right. You can have a strange series of coincidences, but if you get lucky, amazing series of coincidences, right? If you get unlucky, it's an unfortunate series of coincidences. And that's a perfectly logical way to see it. But I have noticed in my life that when I am perpetrating evil, evil is beset upon me upon all sides. There is no luck. Lucky doesn't come into the vernacular, I believe, because you burned up your karmic retribution, if you will. It's not necessarily that bad things will happen, but nothing good will happen.
Yeah,
Does that
and
make sense?
I think you're talking more on the lines of what most people think of manifestation.
Sure. And I've got a weird opinion on manifestation as well. I kind of agree with the concept, but I disagree with the method, if that makes sense. Or maybe it's the other way around. I agree with the method, but disagree with the concept.
Yeah, and I think that's more generated towards people like you were saying earlier. They work towards something, all of a sudden something bad happens. They contribute that to bad luck. Whereas if it goes as they planned and ends up better, they call that manifestation. I get it. I knew what I was doing. That's
There's also another facet here. Okay, so you can train your thought process just like you trained yourself to count cards. You can train yourself, whether you're actively doing it or not, the active thought process of looking for an opportunity, expecting an opportunity to be there, imagining yourself taking that opportunity when it comes along, and maybe even the colors and shapes of that opportunity, as it were, because this is what you want. You are manifesting a concept. And then 2 weeks later, you come along and somebody's offering, somebody needs some help, stuck on a deck or something. And really all you needed was a job. But taking the opportunity is the step through the door that allows you to advance yourself into something resembling a career. Was that manifestation, or was that training yourself to be ready to take the opportunity when it came along?
Yep. See, this guy, he got a straight and a flush. He hit the straight on it and then turned around and hit the flush. The guy thought he was going to hit, had two pair, so he went all in. That's just a stupid move. But yeah, back to the luck and everything. I think a lot of people depend on that too much, and that's why I don't believe that so much. You have to put an effort into it, and that's more like what you're talking about, the karmic thing. If your intent in putting out something good, generally you're going to get some kind of good effects. You may not see them as good effects, but generally they're going to be more positive than negative.
True. I mean, there are exceptions to that. You can surround you by people who are more negative than positive, and that will have a negating effect on your personal karmic value, so to speak. There's also another feature here. Person who goes about performing good actions without thought of payback or anything like that. You might call it altruism, but I'm not sure altruism even actually exists, really. It's always self-serving on some level when someone does something like this. It's very rarely just done truly out of the goodness of their heart, even though
I think the only instance that you see real altruism is when we have these heroes that put their lives at stake for the life of another. That's the only real true form of altruism as I see it.
There's one thing that I've read about, and I've read about this from not from Trump. I've never heard any of this from Trump, but I've come across people online who, when I ask them, I'm like, so what do you think about the upcoming election? And they're like, dude, I'm Trump all the way. When I was 19, I was trying to put together a something and blah, blah, blah. And he gave me $5,000 and started my business. Told me I had to pay him back in 5 years. But when I sent him the money, he sent me $25,000 and said, good job. Like, that's altruism. Trump never advertised it. This guy doesn't talk about it unless directly asked. Is that not altruism?
You could see it that way, yeah. I think
So,
that's accurate.
I mean, that's one of the most blatant displays of altruism I've seen. And a lot of people don't want to hear it. They want to be like, oh, well, he did this, that, and some other things. This man has been hunted down by every single major intel agency in the world for the past 10 years. And yet they can't stick him with nothing that'll corner his ass. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I don't like Trump either, but apparently he's clean enough.
Absolutely. I firmly believe he is clean. He is not perfect, and he has committed sins, I am sure. But when you look at his track record in business and everything else, he has done nothing but try to make things better for himself as well as other people.
Well, one of the things that struck me back in, I guess it was the early 2000s, it might have been a little later than that, kind of think of it. He was doing the whole apprentice tour, right? And he made a statement. It was just one of those throwaway Trumpisms, right? Like, he's like, well, somebody said something about, well, really, you're just trying to improve situation for yourself. And Trump said, absolutely. When I improve the situation for my employees work harder and they improve the situation for me, which lets me improve the situation for them. So anybody not pulling their weight gets cut out of the pie, and anyone else that's left will get that piece of the pie because I have already paid that individual through the year and we fired him in February. So that section gets pushed back into the employees rather than him taking it as a profit. He puts that, which is already dedicated to the business, to the employees that made it work in the time that one employee was not. And when you do the math on the other end of that thought process, that shit circles around about 10 times before that employee's dividends have been eaten up.
Yeah, and see, I used to run a sales and marketing office back in the day, and I came into work one day and I got tired of my employees. I had 14 phone lines. We were doing sales over the phone, and I had 14 sales lines, and they were all full, but we weren't having the sales that we should have, and this was because the people weren't on the phone. They were busy talking and chatting with each other. So I went out to McDonald's, Hardee's, Burger King, places like that, and I asked them for applications. And I told them I wanted 14 applications because I had people that needed them. So I went into work that night with 14 applications from each different place. There were 4 places I went to, and I laid an application for each 4 place on each table before they came in. And I told them, I said, you can get a paycheck anywhere you want. Here, I expect you to do the job I told you. And if you're not going to do that job, I am even going to help you find a job. That's what those applications for. So you either want to continue working for me or you want a paycheck. Because here, we don't get paychecks. We earn what we make. I'll be damned if we didn't have the highest sales in that for that show that night.
I could not for the life of me work in sales. It's just not in me. I'm too good at it, bro. It makes me feel like a sinful bastard. I worked in sales for one afternoon for about 5 hours, and I cleared about $3,000 worth of sales in that time. And the guy who hired me for the afternoon looked at me. He said, not feeling real good, are you? And I was like, that pregnant woman doesn't need a stereo, dude. She needs a socket. I just tell her a stereo because I need money. And you said I had to make $1,000 before I could get some money. And I'm literally homeless right now. So I sold everything that wasn't screwed down.
Yeah. I'm known to talk with a lisp to get a sale. I had this smart, cocky guy before I actually started my own business. I was in a sales office, and I had this cocky guy next to me. I was the top salesman, and he'd just come in and he knew he was good, and he was getting some top sales and stuff, and he beat me a couple times, but that's because I was in it, and for a while, I knew what I was going to make, and I wasn't going to wear myself out. So at the end of the night, there's about 15 minutes left. And he was running his mouth, and my manager knew it was irking me. So he made a comment, and he came up with, if he beats you at the end of the night, you owe him this week's paycheck. I started talking with a list in the last 15 minutes. I surpassed him by over $100 in sales. And we're talking about $15, $25 sales.
Well, this was like a high-end radio boutique kind of situation. I got to give the guy credit. He didn't give me no shade. The other salesman that was there, and the only reason I got this job, I was walking through the freaking mall, trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I sat down on a bench that happened to be right in front of this Radio Shack type place, right? And I sit down, and I'm sitting there with my drink, and I'm looking at my cell phone, scrolling through, trying to figure out what the fuck am I going to do. I'm 450 miles away from home, just got kicked out of the place I was staying, and I ain't got $12 to my fucking name. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do.
What's up with this? What's up with this? I told you this is open topic, open panel. Hey, Lumitranny, come on up. Let's get it. Because if you think this Toothless Whiskey Mountain albino Uncle Tom is what you say he is, I guarantee you's a little off base. Come on up, brother.
So he was arguing with the sales guy that was there, and I remember him saying, "God damn it, Tom," or whatever his name was. "God damn it, Tom, I could pick up some random bum off that fucking beach over there, and he could outsell you." And I stood up, walked in, and said, "Yes, sir, I absolutely can. What do we sell?" He said, "Does it matter?" I said, "No, sir, not at all. I'm just curious so that I can speak intelligently on it when we start selling it."
Yep.
The other guy said, "This motherfucker," and walked away, came back with a jacket, like a blazer top jacket that they had back there. They handed it to me. It was about a half size too large and looked kind of funny on me, but okay, whatever. They want you to wear a blazer, fine.
I'm sorry, but these weak-ass people that love these ad hominems don't understand. The ad hominem is what puts you off a position because you don't know the reality of things. Keep running your jibs, brother. Go ahead.
I could care. I just don't.
Exactly. They think we care up here. That's like this shit with Paul that went on for so long. You know, proper instruction motivates people. All those people in his chat think that people care. And I don't have anything to do with Paulie anymore. I don't watch his show or nothing. But I still have all kinds of people sending me little clips where he still talks about me.
Yeah, well.
I'm living rent-free in his fucking head. Because he doesn't know.
That's one of my favorite places, is rent-free in somebody's head, bro. I try not to do that to people no more. It makes them skittish, dude. I don't.
Do you guys see what I just did there? There were two people in the hand, and it came up queen, queen, queen. I went all in with some bullshit, and he folded. That's what I play. I play according to the board and what it says. So if I can get him to believe I've even got a small pocket pair, he's not going to chase.
I don't know, dude. You know our opinion of YouTube. All of this stuff is a carnival.
It's a projection. It's a projection screen, and that's what you get to do. You get to project. And like I said many times, the thing about this internet is it's the tip of the iceberg. You're only getting to see 10%. Watch
Not
this.
even.
And know that this is what's called a knockout. I've already paid for my game on this one because I got a couple knockouts. But the tip of the iceberg here, and it's free play, so 3-2 suited won that one. So the tip of the iceberg here is 10%. Of this 10% that you actually see, you only see 10% of what's there. In other words, when you see my videos and stuff, you're only seeing 10% of what I put out here. In that 10% of what I put out here that you see, you really only comprehend, 10% of that. So we're at, So we're at 0.1% of comprehension of what's even being projected on this internet. So you really got to think about what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree. Uh, the likelihood of coming across people that matter, quite frankly, is very low. And I go through hundreds of channels every couple of weeks trying to find somebody that's worth freaking talking to, so that I can bring them up and have a Sasquatch Shields. You know, somebody that either does something or understands something or applies something that other creators are not doing. And I know the immediate question that comes up is, what the hell is Jack doing and how did he get on the show? But the fact is, Jack was requested by a previous guest. I okay. I mean, I don't know everything, and I trust the people that I trust, and so it was an excellent show, as shows go. I mean, it could have been a nightmare, and it wasn't. It was,
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I watched it.
but you know
I
as
mean,
well as I do, it could have been trash, and it
oh
could have
yeah.
turned trash real easy.
Well, see, the thing about Jack is, he trashes his own panel because, like I told you when you come up, this is open topic, open panel. Do what you want, and that's only because I'm just sitting here playing poker. If I was really wanting to be sincere about something, I wouldn't let it get to trash. So I wouldn't let people up like Snafu or Luma Tranny. You know, I'm willing to let you come up on this here because you can run your mouth all you want. It's not going to be distraction from any information I'm trying to put out. So it's a matter of, you know, when you had him on your panel, he did a good job because he knew he was on another panel and he would get kicked.
Well, I talked to him a little bit before the show. I explained the methodology and how all of this works, and he asked me, "But why do you do it this way?" And the game theory aspect removes me from most of the trash bullshit that exists, most of the flotsam and jetsam, the beef sphere, all of that stuff. When I go into a genre of YouTube, I don't go in with the intention of interviewing everyone in the genre. I'm looking for a
Right.
handful of key composite figures, somebody who can quantify that particular genre of YouTube without being too terribly narcissistic.
Yeah, and that's um oops,
I'm
wrong
looking
one.
for real people is what it comes down to. People like Resla. As far as I can
Yeah.
tell, Resla is exactly what he appears to be.
Yep. I like wrestler too. I got to call this, guys, just because my own instinct here. So he's going on a pocket pair, and I'm just going to go all in because it's free chip. I wouldn't do this on a real table. Huh. Juked me out. I left me with 10 chips. That's okay. Like I said, it's free chip poker. And now we get to go all in with 7 chips. Funny shit. So anyway, yeah, it's a matter of knowing that you're in somebody else's venue, and that itself, um, you end up with a sense of some kind of authority over you, and that's why we say you really don't have free speech on this platform. You really
Right.
don't,
No
folks.
such thing. That is a myth. That is a legend. That is the type of shit people tell each other to make themselves feel better.
Yeah. So we have to realize, you know, there's a lot of shit going on that um, may not be to our liking, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it if it's not our venue. So we have to stick in our venue. What is our venue? Life, not the fiction. And this is where
True.
people get screwed up with all of that person thing. Everybody wants to sit there and claim that they're a person. You're not. You're not the name. The name is hearsay. This is proven over and over again. And yet every time somebody goes into court, are you Keith Little? Yes. I did it for years. 93 fucking cases. Yes.
I avoided court.
Yeah, some people have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, I know. I was being an asshole when I said it. But yeah, I made a very conscientious, you know, my freaking autistic attention to detail. I made a very conscientious effort to not get arrested. And actually, I didn't get arrested until I was trying to quit. It was like,
you know, it's funny in this last trial that they had, the prosecutor stood up and started running off all the different charges I'd had throughout my life. And she looked at the judge and says, obviously he's not going to comply. So the state is asking for full penalties. The judge looked at her and said, no kidding. Slammed his gavel down and said 60 days. Poker, in the meantime, folks, is sucking.
Well, you know, when you go all in on a hunch, it happens like that sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes
this is a lot
like good though.
This is a lot like real life, though, because if you go all in on a hunch in real life using somebody else's fiat currency, it can very well come back to bite you.
Sure.
Ha!
My philosophy of luck precludes me playing card games.
Looky there.
He outed himself.
I had to call. I was already half invested in my 60 chip stack, so I had to invest the rest, or 40 chip stack, I guess. No, I think it was 40.
So what gets me with this, and a lot of this, like, this is going to sound kind of dumb, but I am capable of learning from other people's mistakes. Furthermore, I am able to hear good advice, log it in my head, and then when the situation comes along that advice fits, check it against the situation directly and see whether or not it's still good advice.
Come on up, Eldon. Be glad to have you up. Link is pinned if you want to come up and chat. We're just shooting the shit, brother.
What it comes down to is, you know, you received a whole bunch of lessons at your daddy's and mama's knee, right? All kinds of things. You witnessed, you saw them try things, you saw them do things, you saw things fail, you saw things succeed, all of that stuff. Now,
looky there, I lost.
Having the patience to wait for the right moment to utilize something that has been given to you is amazing. Most people can't do it.
That's why we have to understand that trust stuff, because that's what people are doing. They think they have free use of things when everything's in a trust of some sort. And if you use it wrong, you're in error. That's the way this system works.
Yeah. No, I'm out of weed.
Me too. I'm taking feigned hits. Otherwise, hitting as good as I can on the resin.
You're just smoking hot glass. I know how you feel. I've been there. In fact, I've got a handful of roaches left. I guess it's time to get the pinching.
See, it's these guys that this is why I don't play poker anymore, because people that are new to the game will go out and try their luck, as we speak of luck, try their luck at poker. And sit there and do the same thing. Come on, club. Damn it. He could have very well.
I need to go check my pork shoulder right quick.
All right. Yeah, this guy could have very well gotten taken out, even though he had pocket aces and he went all in. That's a bad bet, folks. anytime you're going all in, and see, this guy's going to sit there and push the chips because he's got a stack. Greetings, Eldon. How you doing tonight?
Hey guys, doing good. Just sitting here eating my apple.
There you go. Sounds crispy.
Yeah, it's my favorite, Pink Lady.
Nice. You play poker?
I do. How are you guys playing this?
This is called Poker Stars. It's a poker site I used to play on for real money.
Ooh, okay.
They don't allow Americans, United States citizens, I guess, play money tables anymore online.
Guess you got to use a VPN, huh?
Yep, like World Poker Network and stuff. But that's the thing about real poker. Oh, let me finish my thing about the last time I ever played poker real cash table. Anyway, the flop came up ace king 10, I think. I had the queen 9 in my pocket. No, ace queen jack. I had the queen 9 in my pocket. And two people that called me on my all in had queen jack offsuit. That's what they called on, queen jack offsuit. So they were both wanting to hit the straight or flopped a straight, ace king 10, and they both had queen jack. So they both flopped a straight, but I flopped the nut flush. I went all in, and they both called me on their straights. Now, the only way that anybody could beat me with those cards on the table was if both of those players came up with queen jack, runner, which would mean there's the only two queens or only queen and jack left in the deck. They're both holding queen jack. There's a jack on the flop, and I've got a queen. So that's 3 queens, 3 jacks, and now I'm forced to call all in. Damn it! Come on, queen. Queen or club. Damn it. Anyway, runner comes queen jack, and they hit a full house to beat my nut flush. And those are the only 2 cards left in the deck that they could beat me with, and they came runner. I never played cash tables again. That's how I got my old house. My winnings at poker. And I hate this that I can't keep sharing the screen through that stuff. Have to keep bringing up a new screen share. You win much at poker? You said you play. Do you win much?
One of the first times I played was back in the mid '90s at the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas, and won $200 there. I think I started with $20, walked out with $200, and then did a lot of poker tournaments. I live in Arizona, but I live in Prescott now. But when I was living down in Phoenix, there was a whole bunch of bars and Turf Paradise, which are the dog racing, and Georgian Dragon Bar. There's a bunch of different locations that had poker night. And so me and a bunch of friends, we actually would go to all the different events trying to get into the World Poker Tour, because if you did get up to the top, I think they sent the top 2 or 3. It was all expenses paid to Las Vegas, entry into the World Poker Tournament. We never won that much, but it was fun trying. Had a blast. Loved it.
Now, if you've been watching this hand, this guy just came out with a bet. And when the 4-4 came up, now, if he'd have bet on that 7 earlier, that would be a good bet. But I called, and now he skipped betting. Dummy. I don't care about your 4. He called immediately. He was betting nobody had a 7. So how's your case going, Don?
Well, with my nephew?
Mm-hmm.
Well, submitted a you better fire that attorney or you're going to be held liable. I used a lot of your terminology. Had it down pretty good. They had 7 days to respond. They didn't respond, and in fact, they continued the case until January 8th, a 60-day continuance. And the last time which was September, I looked up online the public access case view of his case and it's been going back for the last 10 months from criminal to misdemeanor to criminal to misdemeanor. Well, we're back at misdemeanor again. So I think we're doing great. For my nephew not knowing a damn thing about what we know.
Damn it.
He's come
Damn
a
it,
long
that cocksucker.
He's come a long way. But it's looking good. It's looking promising. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to win because regardless if they continue forward, we're still going to object.
Yep, always object. This is not the proper court. This is a court of law known as an administrative law. We seek a court of equity. Equity imputes the beneficiary to be the true owner. Well, who's the beneficiary in this case? The state. And remember, folks, that's a very distinct difference in the terms, and this is why I get on people about the language. You are not the beneficiary. You are the benefactor that gives to the beneficiary, and this means that you are the one that puts the facts to the record. That's the beneficiary, the record. The record is supposed to benefit from your input as integrity. It's supposed to have integrity, but if you don't know what you're putting in there, that record doesn't have integrity.
Boy, I'm glad you reiterated that because I totally forgot that, and I've been telling my nephew to say I'm the beneficiary. The benefactor's known, but same.
Yeah, I am the benefactor, and what you hold there is the beneficiary record.
Okay, got it.
That is a beneficiary record. Think about secretary. Secret ARY. Anything on the with ARY on it imposes a position in documentation as literal and not actual.
Just got the bone out, bro. It's on now.
Dummy.
But I got a big case coming up here. I don't think I ever told you this one, but my grandson was taken from my daughter in the very first part of while at the hospital, and this was 4 years ago. And anyway, long story short, they took my grandson and they adopted him out. Didn't let me adopt him. The judge said, and this is before I knew anything at all. I didn't know anything 2 years ago. In fact, I didn't know anything a year ago. I was following the SPC program, and that threw me way off. But it was back in November that I got set straight and got introduced to lawful living. Thank God.
Yeah,
But
if you guys read the laws, that foster care system, this administration has nothing to do with biological moms and dads and children. Okay, that's the distinction. They don't have any authority to take people's children out of their home if they're not a foster parent, first and foremost. And that's the distinction. They are not a foster parent. They are the biological mommy and daddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what the state decided they wanted to do is they or CPS, they came and took my daughter's son. Said, hey, we got to do these things for reunification. She was going through that whole process. About 6-7 months in, they just stopped everything altogether. And now the whole time that she's trying this unification process, she has been through like 7 case managers and just leaving messages, never get back to her. All that to say that the visitations just stopped, and then and then on his second birthday, or excuse me, on the first birthday, on my grandson's very first birthday, she's able to have visitation again. Shows up to see him, and he's got a scar across his forehead, all the way across his forehead, down to his left eyeball. And she sends me a picture. I'm like, what the fuck is that? No one knew. And so we had to hire a private investigator. And the private investigator found out that the adopted family's dog attacked my grandson. Yeah. So he had to have facial reconstruction before he even turned 1 year old. That's the state. Then,
yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
And so during this, she's trying to get, now she's seeing him again. This is all steady again. Then she was late to a court hearing, and the judge says, if you're late one more time, I'm going to terminate your parental rights. I got that on video.
Terminate your parental rights.
That he never even had the authority to do in the first place.
Well, it's saying that there's some kind of contract in place. Termination.
What happened was, and she wasn't aware of this, but while she was at the hospital, and I told her to get out of there like right away because they were like telling her to wait around and all this other BS. And she's like, well, I got to do the Social Security and the birth certificate. I didn't know anything about it at the time, but there's the contract.
Yep. It's an implied contract. Tacit acquiescence of acceptance. If you knew the difference, you'd tell them the difference and say, no, I can't sign that because that's for Department of Defense personnel, and it's supposed to be registered in the United States, not the state. You provide me the process that I can register that in the United States and qualify me as military, I might be willing to do so.
So she was late to the next court hearing by 15 minutes, and the judge said, we're going to terminate her rights.
Greetings, Vinny. Come on up. The link is pinned.
And so at that point, CPS did this abandonment paperwork petition for I have to go back and look at it, but basically just to terminate her rights. And she was late. And then after that, she was, pretty distraught of the situation that took place. And she had come to, she was, she lives in Phoenix, or was at the time, and she came up to visit me. She was with a friend. She was driving a friend's car. She gets pulled over, and there's allegedly some drugs. They take her in, and she has a little blue pill on her. And because she had it on her and they took her into the jail, they charged her with or was it not trafficking, but
Possession.
no, not possession, intent to distribute, just bullshit.
Intent to distribute with a little bit in her pocket.
Yeah, it was her personal use, correct.
Wow. Greetings, Mitch. How you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, what's up, man?
Mitchell, what is up, my brother from another goblin?
I actually came up because I saw you. I couldn't resist.
That's the way it works, baby.
Well, I just heard you talking about me. I don't know what you're talking
Your mic is fucked. Your mic is fucked.
My bad. I'll be back.
Yep. Thanks.
So she gets, I put my house up for bond to get her out. She gets out, and she's about 2 months away from a hearing. And so the bail bonds puts an ankle monitor on her. And about 3 weeks into it, her ankle gets swelled up, and she's got to get it adjusted because her legs getting all swelled up from the ankle monitor. She goes in and gets it adjusted. They said, we don't like how you look. We're going to take you back. They revoked her bond and took her back. Well, would you believe the same shit happened again? She had another little pill on her, and now she's in no bond, or they revoked the bond. So at least they didn't. I didn't have to deal with that too badly with the revoke. They did it, so I didn't lose my house there. But now they said 5 years. And she goes, "Can I think about it?" They're like, "Yeah, we'll give you a week." And then she went back to court, and she says, "Well, I still want to think about it." She said, "Nope, it's off the table." And then they came back and said 7 years.
Again, you would have to I don't know what to say in those kind of situations.
Well, she's been in 3 years now, and she got the 7. She pleaded the 7. She's been in 3 now. But this whole thing stemmed from basically CPS.
Yeah, and they have no authority, folks. Like I said, CPS, the only authority CPS has is according to a foster care or adoption contract. Without that,
I have a CPS story that's funny as hell, and it's because of the reaction the woman had. My father my father and my uncle both collect guns. A neighbor of ours was having some trouble with an ex-boyfriend who had showed up twice to try to set the house on fire. She asked us to keep the kids for, a few days while she worked out getting him locked back up for doing it. She had him on camera. So they brought the kids over, and immediately CPS got involved. And the CPS lady shows up and sitting at the table with me and my mom asked us how many guns were in the house. And we looked at each other and went, "Ooh, hold on, ma'am. Are we counting functional guns or parts of guns?" And she's like, "All of them." I was like, "No, that's not, because a stock is not a gun, but a stock and a barrel is a gun. And we might have both of them, but I don't know if they actually go to one another. We've got a bunch of parts." And she's like, "Oh, well, let's just go with functional guns." I was like, "Yep, okay." I have no idea. I'd have to go count them. can you go ahead and count them? I said, oh, okay, get comfortable. And I left, and it took an hour and a half to go through. And after she left, we probably found another 25. I just didn't see that. You're used to seeing everything where it's at when you're in your room, and I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went through and counted. And she came back later, and I was like, "Oh yeah. No, we need to update that report." She's like, "I don't even want to know, man. I don't even want to know. I'm supposed to count parts of guns too. I found that out when I went back, but I don't want to know." They were too shocked to find out that you had over 200 guns. And I was like, "God, collectors. What can I say, man? They've been collecting since. My pops had been collecting since his dad bought him his first set of 10 rifles because it was cheap and he needed somebody to give it to so his wife wouldn't get upset."
Yeah. I was talking about Paul earlier and how they keep an eye on me and stuff. I just got another notice, and I just want to point it out, guys. So we're going to stop screen share here. I do not watch Paul. I get notices from people telling me that they're talking about me and stuff. So let me get it. And there you go. So we have people in Paul's community, and they're putting me up in his platform, and hypocrisy or business as usual. So give me a minute. We'll check this out and see what they're trying to say. Oops. That's like the shit with Paul I went on for so long. All those people in his chat think that people think. And I don't have any.
We can't hear it.
I don't watch the show, but I still have all kinds of people sending me little clips where he still talks about. Yeah. Well, I'm giving rent free in his fucking head.
Now we can hear it.
Oh, well, let me do it over again then, because this is what I was talking about earlier when I first opened and invited you up. I mentioned, yes, greetings, NPC. Glad you stopped by. But this is what I'm talking about when people in the background thinking I'm part of their community and they want to, pretty much stalk me is what I would call it, because they're constantly watching me, constantly.
Oh, come on, bro. I used to stalk you. It was fun.
Yeah, I know. But you didn't do the things that these people are doing, right?
You got some gang stalkers?
Well, yeah, Paul on Slave Channel. Ever since I quit his shit, people call me the incel, the infidel, the heathen, whatever, the one that's not going along with the program. When the simple thing is, if you have an issue with me, just like Matthew 18, verse 15, go to your brother in private if you have aught with him. He insists on making it all public. That's not the way I work. And if you keep doing that, I'm not going to continue partaking on your panel. We discussed it. He continued wanting to make me a bit non-bit by bringing up Snafu and all these other creatures to distract. That's what I was talking about with Caucasian in the beginning of the stream. These people are fucking idiots. They think I don't see this shit. He's full-blown narcissist.
How's it going, Keith and Asian? Everybody on the panel. There's a lot of that going on right now, man. You saw my stream how those stalkers they want to do everything in public. You know what I'm saying? This is craziness.
Using the straw man fallacies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Damn it. I'm giving rent free in his fucking head.
That's one of my favorite places, rent free in somebody's head, bro.
Damn it.
I try not to do that to people.
Somehow. Well, let's just close this out. There were two people in the hand, and it came up. There we go. I don't know why, but I pulled that clip up and it kept playing for me in the background and I couldn't get it shut down. There was nothing on screen, so I had to shut Telegram down. Sorry. But back to it, yeah. That's my favorite part too is, these people call me the troll. And like I explained on NPC's channel earlier, Gabriel, I have 30 channels for a reason, and it's not just to troll people. I do use it for that. But the 30 channels I have are constructed for different topics, which I use 5 main profiles for different topics. And then the rest of them are for gathering information and stuff if I need it. And that gathering of information is by trolling other people's channels and being able to be in the chat with without the usual recognizing exactly who it is. But like I explained on NPC earlier, I got 30 accounts, and it's a benefit to most others that are on my good side. I'm going to give you 30 likes. I'm going to help the algorithms. But at the same time, it's my own authors guild, so I can write under pen names, and that is Tom Sawyer. That's the third person. You cannot take anything in third person as real. That's your indemnification, folks. The language that you use. That's why I have 30 channels, because I understand the concept of authorship, journaling, and knowing how to speak in the proper pose.
Meanwhile, I had those channels just to fuck with people, just to ruin their goddamn life because I didn't like them. I didn't like the way they held their mouth. I didn't like what they did. And I was an evil, evil, bad person. And I don't do that no more.
Yeah. Yeah, Keith, I appreciate that though with the likes, but even with the jewels you just said about the artist guild, I like looking at it like that. You have your own personal artist collective right there.
What Keith, tell me your channels. Can you just give me a brief of what they are about?
El Perro, I publish everything to. Everything I've ever published in video form comes from Facebook videos that I first started doing on Facebook. And then 2 years after I started that, I opened up a YouTube channel and started posting them on YouTube, and that was my first channel, El Perro. Then I developed the other channels, Keith Little, Hotep Secondly, or Heckle-Bus, Wyrd Wyzard, and the rest. And those 4, I've got 5. Chaplain is the other one. And those 5 channels are the ones that I'm going to post the journalist information on. The other 25 are just, like I said, gathering and troll channels. And when it comes down to it, it's the expression of your ability to write or produce or create. And in that, a lot of people, they don't have any way to separate the different things in their life because they think it's all part of their life, and that's the category of life. No, you have to take, just like wearing a hat, as a father in the household and a husband, if you have a wife and children, that's different. And as soon as you walk out the door, you have to take that hat off and put on a different hat. People don't recognize that. That's the part. And so when you talk to your mom or your wife and your children, you're going to talk to them in a different way, using a different grammar style than you would if you were going out to work and work at an oil plant or something. You're going to use the terms that an oil industry man is used to using, where that doesn't normally encompass your conversation with your women and children. We have to understand the differences and be able to how to portray them as different. People always portray them as the same, and it's done through that person, and that's because they all think they're that person. That's why they portray it the same way. You got to get out of that.
Don't do drugs, kids.
No.
Do drugs. Sure. I'm smoking some pot, so I don't know. Is that a drug?
It didn't used to be, but nowadays I think maybe it might be. I mean, things have gotten a lot more stupid.
I've never done heroin before, but I feel like I'm doped up right now, no doubt.
You just ate a prime rib.
You say
No,
the
I took some RSO. I've been nibbling on that, and I'm smoking on the yellow liquid.
Yeah, you look like it. Your eyes are shot, dude.
Good,
Yeah,
got no eyeballs, brother. You need to put a tourniquet on those things before you bleed to death.
I definitely feel like I'm on drugs right now, but I've been smoking all day, and I haven't felt like that. But sometimes.
Yeah, so it's
Legalize it, yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is one of those things that when you realize the legalization is dependent upon the construction of the words that they use, you no longer start you start no longer using those terms. So I no longer use marijuana. I'll use the shit out of cannabis though.
Right. But in our construct isn't, we can use whatever the fuck words we want to use.
Right, and that's why you have to understand how to put them in context with your speech. If you don't know, just using a different word ain't going to make a difference.
Right.
You got to learn how to use the construction of the language to put it in its proper place.
See, this is one thing that me and this cat actually get along on. Like, he says a lot of wild shit I don't agree with, that I just think is off base and off putting. But at the same time, he says it perfectly well. The words he uses to make his point are all accurate. You can't shoot holes in it. So it's like, okay, so you're not wrong, but
Yeah. Now we have to talk about the discrepancies according to how I see it.
The fucking rabbit hole for real. Get some fur in our teeth. That's what it's gonna take.
Yep. Yeah, people don't like that fur in their teeth, do they? It's hard to spit it out. It's like,
bro. My wife's been bitching about it for about 20 years now.
It's like when that judge sat there on that bench and looked at me and said, "Keith, do you understand English?" And I said, yes. I had to chew on that hair in my teeth for the rest of the night because I bit that rabbit. He asked me a very valid question. Like I said, it's the best question I've ever been asked. And I got to give the man kudos. I got to go thank him someday if I can. You play any poker, Mitch? Gabriel?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Your mic went again. I don't know if it's just a bad connection, bad cord or whatever. I heard you say it, but it came across with a lot of static, brother.
Sounds like Max Headroom's on the line. Anybody remember that guy?
Oh, yeah. That was Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer.
Right. Some good music, man.
Damn it.
They don't make music like that anymore.
No, they do not.
Not even close.
Mic check. Am I all right?
Yep, you're good now.
That's crazy. I've been on this device pretty much all day on panel, and nothing's changed. It just
YouTube hates us.
Fucking bizarre.
At least it's an easy problem to solve.
Yeah, I just refreshed.
What were we talking about? Fur in our teeth? Yeah, I was going out on this one time, and I found out what the difference is, what a bowl full of Jell-O and a blonde have in common. Do you know what it is?
They both melt when you put them in their hands, in your mouth.
They both jiggle when you eat them.
Oh, yeah, they both jiggle when you eat them, yep. So, yeah, the particulars of this metaverse, like I said, 10% of 10% of 10% is 0.1%. Yet I'm living rent-free in a lot of people's heads. They can't, just like Paul, they can't resist going back to him and telling him what's going on here. And they come and tell me what's going on there. I don't need to sit there and watch anybody. They just don't get it. That's
Well,
why
let's
I
be
do.
honest. No, let's be honest. Let's be straight up. 99% of the channels on YouTube, if they do any form of live stream, they have a single topic that they go over, and they might have a secondary chill stream they do occasional. If once you've heard their single topic and their views on it, is there really
I'll be a motherfucker.
Probably. I mean, I am.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Once you've heard their spiel, their primary topic that their channel's on, is there any reason to listen further unless other people show up?
Exactly. And see, that's one of the things, I have guilt in being on Paul's panel for so long because I knew that his trigger game is exactly what it is, but I didn't play to the concept that it was a vehicular drive in people in the chat and in the metaverse. It wasn't until I really sat back and started looking at it that I realized that my part in this metaverse is playing a lot more than what I ever thought. And that's because I see it in return the way people react themselves. And so I'm still working on my own reactions. Like Jack said on his panel, I'm an angry old man. Damn right. I have a reason to be angry. But the way I express it needs to change. That's it.
You're, my, I guess interest to you, Keith, is your knowledge, your information, going back and listening to the lawful living classes. Your input to me, has been invaluable.
Awesome.
And,
I appreciate it.
And, I literally, because when you, I can't quote anything right now. I'm higher than a wombat, but I'm writing these quotes down. I'm putting
Sir, wombats don't get high. You might be higher than a fruit bat, but a wombat stays on the ground and lays square poops. Little poop. Are you pooping cube poops?
I think I need to get some greener weed is what I need to get.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic right there on its own. Why is it and how is it that wombats shit comes out in cubes? Every other animal on Earth, it comes out.
You want to know why? A wombat does not have an anus per se. It has a awful excretion area, which is not a sphincter like an anus. It's different. It's like a flap. And then it has a cloaca, and that cloaca cavity is square. And so it excretes the poop into the cavity, derives all of the water out of it, and then drops a dry piece of poop on the ground. It's square.
It's amazing. It's like the earthworm is even one that, everything is round. According to every other creature on Earth, their shit comes out round.
Hey, every other creature on Earth is just an enclosed tube.
Yeah.
Or is that just the golden ratio?
Well, yeah. And you got to remember, they say look inwards, not look innards. You don't look at your innards. They're not innards anymore. It comes out of your innards.
They used to tell the future by looking at the lights.
Yeah. That's kind of like that luck thing.
You see
Good
what
luck
you want
with
to see in there, don't you?
Yep. Good luck with that.
But the damn chicken's still dead, ain't it?
Yep. And the longer you sit there and look at it, the more rotten it's going to get. So face up to the reality and just take it for what it is, folks. I put a Facebook post up today, and just a mundane thought, I said, I ask, oh Lord, when I pass on, take me to heaven, because I'm already living in hell.
Exactly. I mean, it's got its there's heaven parts, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, and see, that's just it. People think life is supposed to be good, and it is, but it's not going to be good if you just sit back and don't do anything. You have to partake in that goodness.
Absolutely.
Not just partake, you have to participate. You have to enter willingly and then perpetrate goodness of your own.
Yeah, and that's that manifestation part I was talking about. With good intent, you can manifest things, but you have to do something. And that's purely simply just doing the things that you think you need to do and doing with good intent.
It's kind of how my life had changed, just helping my loved one, avoid going to prison for her life, or for 7 years anyway. And, I was just desperate. I'm on Telegram, just asking people, I'm like, hey, does anybody know anything about the law or anything like that? And the next thing you know, I'm learning about someone gets a hold of me, and next thing you know, I'm filing lawsuits again.
Well, and in regards to that, I was thinking about that, and that's that Texas rule of civil procedures, Rule 12. You can contest jurisdiction at any time, even after conviction and sentencing. So while she's sitting there, you can still contest the jurisdiction, and that's the jurisdiction I would question, is the assignment of an attorney to present the case to begin with. See, they have to go through a board of directors, and this is for each individual case. In order to establish jurisdiction, they have to go through a board of directors to hire the attorney. That's not done. It's a blanket hiring by hiring a county attorney and saying, okay, you get to handle the caseloads. No, they're supposed to be hired per case. Just like if you have a case against you, you're supposed to hire an attorney. That attorney for the state is for the state. That's biased. You're supposed to hire an attorney yourself, but the hiring is not for representation, but for counsel. And this is the only way a single man can hire an attorney, is for counsel. But when they hire an attorney for representation, it has to go through a board of directors. Texas Rule of Civil Procedures, Rule 12. And they didn't do that either for her, the prosecutor, or her defendant. They didn't hire that attorney through a board of directors.
But I found that after the epiphany came to me afterward, when I attended her court hearing, one of her court hearings, and deputy MCSO, so Maricopa County Sheriff deputy, came and testified that he was abreast of a situation that took place of her bringing in contraband, is what they called that.
Right.
And I'm like, and I didn't know anything about the what we do now, but I was just in shock, just going, wait a minute, this guy's coming from Phoenix and he's testifying, some guy in a suit's testifying on behalf of something that was written on a report in his office and not the actual person.
Yep. And that's why I say you guys got to really start looking at this documentation and the language they use. It's all hearsay, presumption, secondhand stories. Every last bit of it. They cannot speak in first person.
And looking at it now, I'm like, I would have fucking, holy shit. I would have read them all a new asshole.
When that judge sits on the bench and says he's the one that's playing person. Okay? He's the one that's playing person as an I, when in fact, he has an oath and he's actually speaking about the person as I, not as the living soul as we see each other face to face. He's up there saying I, and you believe in it that he is the administrator. No, an administrator is an ad hominem. Okay? It's a nomination. So he is playing a character part. That's it. He's getting paid for it. If I'm sitting here on this panel, I'm not talking to you in that second or third person prose. I'm talking about me as the living soul. When he's sitting on that bench, he's talking about his administration. Second person.
and I pray for the judge. She you know, she really made this one impressed, seared into my memory. But after she said 7 years, because my daughter was trying to like say something, but she's 33 years old, 32 years old, and you know, you're not going to be very uh, comprehensive speaking in a situation like that. But she after she said what she said, the judge, concluded with her sentencing. And then when she did that, she got up, and I wish I would have kept recording. I didn't, but they probably still have it on the video. Who knows? She stood up and she smiled and laughed. And it was like she had this smirk and laughed. It's just like one of these things. I'm like, wow. It's like you're just glad to just throw someone in prison for 7 years for nothing.
Yeah, and these people don't have authority to put you in prison. Again, remember, everything's contract. You have to contract yourself into prison. So they're doing everything under a presumption that you are part of that administration as a trustee, like we were talking about it earlier.
So I'm thinking an approach of 42-1983 because she can do it right from there. Doesn't need any funding because she's indigent or indigent, whatever if they call that. And just starting from the beginning of the CPS, and then the judge, by which he decided to retire. This is my last case, and I'm going to retire. You damn straight, because I'm coming at a $50 million, $100 million lawsuit your ass. But and that's why they adopted my son out as quickly as possible. It was amazing how the whole thing went. It was just phenomenal. These guys are amazing. But so I'm thinking 1983, start with it started. Her, put her into her, I mean, you take someone's family away from her, you're going to destroy someone's just essence, life, soul, and you just everything and so doing that's the whole basis of the claim, notice of claim of damages. But I can't do the notice of claim, and the reason why I'm saying that, because I'm going straight for the 42 USC 1983, is because they got her locked up, and when you're locked up, they can do all kinds of shit.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is the people over the decades, centuries, have acquiesced, and again, in comfort and convenience of allowing somebody else to take the responsibility. They have acquiesced to that, and now they're in a position where they don't know how to step up and take responsibility. They have to research and study first.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so this is where I'm coming in, and I can file it on her behalf, but she would still have to stand on her square.
Yeah, and this goes back to the concept that back in the day, when people couldn't actually read and write but yet still went to court, it was because they went to court with a common sense. They could still stand in court despite not being able to read and write, but they had a comprehension of the English language that they say, wait a minute, something's not right here. I'm not that person. They knew that. We've been indoctrinated through the public education system over decades now to believe that we are the person. Think about it. We are trained in kindergarten to write our name in a legal form. They don't teach us concise English. They teach us the legal form so we can enter the information on the applications. We are indoctrinated to believe that we're residents. If you look up the term in the laws and find out how they use them according to their vernacular, whichever venue they're in, will show you that it is quite different.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all military, right?
Yep. The whole thing, and I'll have to pull up, I'll have to find the chart again. I got it from Steve Martin, football player, and he showed me the government construct of the military format, and in that you see the administration of the states is under the military. Talks you about tax venue, employment venue, all of it.
Hey Keith, I'm about to go to class/work. I appreciate you having me. You have a good evening, man.
You bet.
Much
Thanks
love,
for stopping up. Next time, speak
Much
up more,
love,
man.
I was listening. I was getting ready. Yeah. I got you, brother.
All right. Be blessed.
Take care, Sasquatch, and panel.
Yes, sir,
Peace.
So yeah, when we get down to the language, that's the biggest thing I'm going to harp on. You know, that's what I found out to be my problem. And in my research, it shows me that it's everybody else's problem too. That's the foundational issue. We don't know how to communicate with each other because we don't communicate with God and ask for his counsel in guiding us on how to speak even. People think it's just natural. No, it's not. It's a learned thing. So yeah, when it comes to the 7-year sentence there, I would certainly question jurisdiction as to the appointment of the attorneys in all cases. They don't have an attorney legitimately hired to represent the plaintiff, then they can't properly bring a suit in those administrative courts. This is 22 CFR 93.1 and 93.2. There's supposed to be a diplomatic channel of notice. Go ahead.
But let me ask you this: what if we take it directly to the CPS and start there? Because I'm thinking they're the ones that started this whole rigmarole in the first place. So if we file a suit against them, then everything else is, what do you call that?
Presumptive.
Well, them doing what they did to her by taking my grandson had resulted in her being pulled over,
Oh, I see. Subsequent.
No, there's another term for that. It's called low-hanging fruit, bad fruit.
Oh, yep. Low-hanging fruit from the poisonous tree. Jinx.
Am I on the right track there?
Yep.
You gonna call that shit a pop, and I ain't buying you a Dr. Pepper if you're gonna call it a pop.
Shit, I used to drink like Thirst Busters, 46-ounce Thirst Busters, Dr. Peppers a day. I can't believe I used to do that. It's amazing. I can't even drink anything sugar now.
Hey there, Para. I think I'm gonna go try to help Kane's Catharsis work out what a troll is.
Is he live?
Well, yeah, he just went live, and apparently he's been having some issues with some folks, so he's doing the whole "what is a troll, what ain't a troll" thing.
I might come join you. Got his link? You got his link? Give me his link.
Let me see what I can fish up. I don't know if it'll actually work. Hold on.
Well, just give me the YouTube link if he's live, and we can drop it for everybody, and we can go raid him. Not that 10 people is a raid, but.
Well, I mean, that's 10 more than he had.
Yep.
You got to look on the bright side, son, even when it's rated.
Yep. Yeah, you get that link, and we'll drop it for everybody.
Well, I will say, man, I appreciate you all too. This has been kind of cool, a little bit of dialogue back and forth and talking about things a little bit.
Yeah, and this is what I prefer, but it's not too conducive to education for most people, because they have to have examples and be led through things. So, I don't do it often.
All right, the top one's his channel. The second one's his actual live stream link.
Okay. Well, we'll drop the live stream, and then everybody can just get his channel link when they subscribe. And there you go, folks. That's Kane's Catharsis.
Okay, no, I can't get the StreamYard link. It's rolled back too far already.
That's okay.
You guys have a good one. I'll see you later. Thanks.
You bet. Thanks for stopping in, brother. We'll see you on call on Tuesday.
Thanks, Keith, for sure.
You bet.
CPS is trash. That's the world over. Everywhere you go, they're all terrible people. Almost all of them are operated or run either by women or very effeminate men who either don't have children or don't have their children anymore.
Yep. I'm calling just because we're getting ready to leave. So come on. Nope. 3s and kings got it. Or 4s and kings got it. All right. We're out, folks. And you guys, you got anything, Mitchell, you want to talk about before we leave?
No, I'm just following the Lane Myers situation. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh yeah, hot dogging it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
live right
now.
Yeah, he's spot on too, and this is what we're talking about.
You drop that link in the wrong chat. You're supposed to drop it in your chat, not in the back chat. You took the link I gave you, dropped it right below the link I gave you.
Damn, my apologies, guys. I'm an idiot. I don't need to smoke, do I?
Bro, Mitch, at some point in time, we're going to have a conversation, and I wonder how that's going to pan out. I'm just curious.
We'll get around to it.
It'll happen one day.
I intended for it to happen tonight, but I'm not really bringing the energy.
Are we throwing punches, bro?
I don't know. I don't want it to be sloppy. I want to engage in an intellectually honest conversation with you.
Okay, all right. I mean,
I'm interested in your
honest or don't. That's with you. I'm just gonna have fun with the whole thing, regardless.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
All right. Let me see if I can make this work. I'm gonna cam down and everything and see if I can get things to actually pan out.
So you're staying warm there. I see snow in the background. How much snow you got up there so far?
We've had about a foot, but it's pretty much melted right now. It's been fairly nice recently, and I got a heater on the way, so I'm about to be real comfortable until it gets down to about 0 degrees. Once it gets below 0 degrees, it'll get a little chilly, but Fahrenheit. But I have a pretty good opportunity working out. My friend has 40 acres, and I think we'll probably work out a deal where I can get hopefully about 10 acres, and so
build yourself a nice little adobe home of some sort. And
yeah, exactly. He's got a little structure, a trailer that I can live in for a little while, and until I can manage something on my own, and it'll be a good situation. I can probably hopefully build my dream Frisbee golf course.
Yeah, well, I was just talking earlier on another call about boondocking, and that's where you can find these self-sufficient people in self-sufficient communities that need people to help tend their land and stuff. And you travel around to these different communities, and they put you up, and you help out around the place. That's all it is. It's just an equal exchange. There's no money exchange or anything. And that's what we're looking at in bringing the real commercialism or commodities back to the local areas. Our body, our labor, the sweat equity labor is what's being taken advantage of in these contracts. And that's what's got us duped into living in these societies. We need to get beyond that and be more local. And that's that looking inwards, know thyself. And when you know yourself, you can take your trade out and make it applicable to these other communities. They're looking for people. So great idea. Good. I hope that works out for you. I know the last one didn't. So
yeah, I know. and it all happens for a reason. This is a much better situation and more like-minded people, and there's, you know, there's going to be a lawyer on the property, and you know, and so be able to get shit done, hopefully, and you know, it'll be interesting. But I might need to hire you for counsel, so because I'm not exactly sure how to handle the situation I'm in, but hopefully it comes to me. I'm just at kind of a little stuck mentally of how to approach it exactly, because it's never gotten to this point for me. But you know, we'll get to that point. I'll talk to you. I'll try and reach out privately and see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
So I got Kane's Catharsis pulled up. We're gonna restream him for a few minutes while Squatch is getting situated.
Trying to get him to send me the freaking link again, because he posted it in chat for a second and it scrolled past me before I could get it.
I know Nave and Johnson, but
I'm sorry, I can't control what you do when I'm not around. Right? I can't. Hell, I can't control what you do when I am around. What the hell, dude?
Out of control.
Yep. Out of control. Out of control.
All right. Thanks for having me, man. I'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Anytime.
Are you shutting down or are you hanging out?
No, I'm going to shut down here. This was just a spur of the moment thing I set up to get online, because I haven't been on for over a week now since I did my last video. Things changed with my companion and I, so I got to pay more attention to her and change my schedule around. Things won't be scheduled as much, but I'm going to try to get back on to doing my weekly thing here soon.
All right. Well, cool, man. Well, I'll catch you on the next one, hopefully.
You bet. You bet.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Be blessed. All right. Folks, go over to How's Your Troll Game on Kane's Catharsis, because we were just talking about trolling, and I live rent-free in a lot of people's heads. Don't let it happen to you.
Don't let it happen to you, folks. And besides, it could be worse. Could be flaming rain and cobras.
Yep. Yep. And when you're living in somebody else's head rent-free, they absolutely are thinking about you constantly. Later, folks. And you... Oops. Wrong one.
He ruined it. He ruined the exit.
And you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That's on you. So may God bless you, and have a good night, everybody. Bye now.